for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Hussein. We really appreciate this. First of all, can you tell us what exactly happened from where you sat? We saw the video that you shared, but you were at the ground. What exactly happened in the game that ultimately led to the reported stabbing of Yao Frimpong?
Okay, I think I'll have to get straight to where the incident actually happened, as you mentioned, and that was in the second half of the game. And just after we resumed for about 10 minutes, and then the game was quite cagey because of the history of the game, and we know that Nsoatre was fighting for survival, while Masters and Kotoko was fighting to keep the title challenge alive or their spot on the top of the table. So that was the background to that game. So it was cagey, even right from the onset when the Timbers arrived, and as many have seen the video, some Nsoatre fans, Mr. Kotoko fans, I mean, you could see that tension. So it was like it took that tempo and tension to the game. And then right after the first half, you see, it ended 0-0 in the first half. So the tension and everything was definitely going to be in the second half. So right in the second half, where an incident occurred on the Kotoko's right side of defense at the far end, that was close to the center line and to the halfway line rather. So Michael Jamina, who eventually came on to substitute Sakadoda. Sakadoda left the field injured, and then later, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. I can hear you, Hussein. Please continue.
Good. So Sakadoda left the field injured, and then Che Jamina came on. So when Che Jamina came on, he fouled. I stand to be corrected, but I think it was Walid Neema Husseini. He fouled that player, and the referee, Mauli Vomao, whistled for foul. He awarded his Nsoatre that foul. But when Che Jamina was turning, I saw that Nsoatre player quick responsive action, tripping Che Jamina. So he tripped him, and then the player turned. You know, players, and when somebody, took somebody down, and then that immediate, in the heat of the moment, they began pushing each other. That's where I saw the Kotoko players rushing to the scene, and then the Nsoatre players also rushing to go and show their power. So I think what brought the fracas or that chaos at that time was that because of the tension and the level of aggression the two sides used to approach the scene, that led to each other kicking away, this guy kicking this guy, the other guy kicking the another, and then as we've seen in the video that I recorded. So that was what brought the tension. And at that time, it was going on only on the field. Even though there was tension in the game, the fans were a bit calm. I won't say they were 100% calm, but they were a bit calm because it was happening inside the perimeter. So on the outside, after I took the video, if you could recall, or if you have been able to listen to the video very well, you heard the announcer saying we shouldn't record. So I decided that once I've recorded the video, I have to leave the scene so that I can post it. And if you could remember, I'm the same guy who recorded last year's Chelsea game against Lions, where a referee awarded some suspicious penalty for Lions, and then they eventually equalized to survive. That was my dictator last year. So since I'm quite popular, people know me, I said that trick that, okay, people can even, when they see me around, they can even suspect that I've taken some video, and you know where the Nsoatre Park is, very far from the town itself, very outskirts. I mean, car drive will take you for about 15 minutes before you can get there. So I sensed that, so I decided to leave the scene. Now, on my way leaving, that was still when the game was at halt. After I recorded the video, you see, the referee halted the game because of what happened. And then there were deliberations as to whether the game should continue or it shouldn't. So when, in the heat of that moment, I saw even the late Pooley, the guy who's currently unalive. I saw him there, and at that time he was calm. I saw some people who were like, you could see, said that thing that they were not all that calm with the situation, but they were not either fighting outside the perimeter. So on my way going, I stood a bit, and I saw Kwesi Appiah on the very top. If you've been to Nsoatre before, you know where I'm talking about, where the glass is, where the VIP. So he was standing there and then surrounded by a lot of Kotoko fans and others. So when I saw Coach Kwesi, I saw that, he's made some gestures onto the field. At the time, Honorable Ignatius Bafowa had actually entered the field. And when he entered, he tried to calm the situation down, speak to both sides, including the referee, and again, did some gestures towards the fans. So I interpreted that gestures to be like he wanted the situation to calm down. So when I saw Kwesi Appiah again, I saw that he also responded some gestures onto the field. So I didn't know exactly what he meant, but I saw a lot of people surrounding him, and then they were really like, no, something like that. So I couldn't interpret what actually he meant. But initially, it was suggesting to me that maybe he wanted the players to leave the field and stop playing, because there were some rumors that Kotoko will actually leave the field, they will not continue the game. So it suggested to me that maybe that was what Kwesi Appiah said, and because he was actually mobbed by those fans, they didn't want the game to be stopped, so they wanted to work. That's why maybe they did that. But eventually, there were some other guys who are also reporting that Honorable Ignatius Bafowa signaled Kwesi Appiah to come to the field with his influence and everything, so that they can calm the situation. And that is why the fans were doing those no gestures for him not to enter the field. So when I turned, I was actually at that point standing in between where Bafowa and Kwesi Appiah were. So when I turned, I saw Ignatius Bafowa raising his arm like this, like gingering the fans, and I thought, with the personality and being the owner, getting to the field, trying to calm the situation, maybe he wanted to turn that sort of fracas and chaos that has happened. He wanted to switch that and make it to be looking like, everything is calm, they should cheer out, the game is about to start. Little did I know, some Kotoko fans believe that this is what they are also interpreting from the same gestures that I saw. They said that they saw Ignatius Bafowa inviting Kwesi Appiah to come onto the field so that they can calm the situation. So when the fans actually denied Kwesi Appiah to enter, in their own interpretation, it angered Honorable Ignatius Bafowa to also give morale to the fans to continue what they were like about to do. So to them, it is Honorable Ignatius Bafowa's hand gestures, like gingering the fans up, is what triggered the fans' emotions to do what they did. Because with the guy who has actually kicked the bucket, Nathan, earlier videos showed that he actually had some confrontations before entering the stadium.
Okay.
They are saying he used to say certain things on radio and on TV that they are not comfortable with. So when he get there were a lot of mentioning of his name, that when this guy comes, yes, we mean him, we don't want this guy here. So when in the second, in the heat of that moment, even though where I was before I was leaving, the guy was actually cool and he was sitting in the midst of the Kotoko supporters. So I didn't see anything that the guy did as at that time. But when I actually left, that's when I realized the fans came again, and then they took him, tried to take him out of the stadium. So on their way going out, right at the gate where you saw the video that the guy was lying, that was where he was actually stabbed. So the guy was inside the stadium, and certain sections of the fans came and took him outside, and he got stabbed right at the outside. So the guy actually was the one who rushed to the Okada, trying to let the guy take him to the hospital. And some were saying, no, they should use the ambulance instead. So there was some misunderstanding there, because people felt, some of the fans felt that the ambulance was there to protect the players only and those who will be playing the game. Meanwhile, we all know that it is not so. It is to protect everybody, every life there. So there were some arguments, some confrontation. I honestly can do some of these things to make a point that would be the reason why when the guy was lying and they wanted the ambulance driver to come with the keys, you could see some hesitation, and then they couldn't find the key and stuff. So that was actually what led to the incident. So when I left the scene, I was getting some news. I know that that guy by name Pooley has been stabbed, and then and eventually has lost his life. So I needed to confirm. So I had to make some
Okay.
calls, and eventually they confirmed, as we've all been confirmed now. So that is what exactly happened with regards to the Nsoatre incident.
Hussein, so 24 hours or so after that, do you happen to know what
Mhm.
the situation at Nsoatre is like?
Oh,
Yes. Do you have any info on that? How is Nsoatre this
okay,
morning
okay.
following
I
yesterday's
won't say I
incident?
have info per se, but for anybody that I've seen that was actually at the stadium, including me myself, we are all down, we are all shocked to the core, and you could feel it that the trauma is living with inside everybody, including me myself. So it's suggesting to me that that may be the mood at Nsoatre, because if you watch the video subsequently coming out from Nsoatre, you could feel the tension. You could feel that, I mean, people have regretted what happened. So I can sense that based on the emotions of a lot of people that I've seen that were actually at the stadium yesterday, including me myself.
I see. Hussein, do you think that the GFA and do you think that better security arrangements could have been put in place for this game, looking at the rivalry between the two teams and the tension and all? Or you think that the situation just went out of hand? It caught everybody by surprise. And by the way, for our listeners, you can go to our Facebook page, Sporty FM, and see the video that Hussein Adams shared on social media, the fight between the Asante Kotoko players. You could see the agitations of the fan. And Hussein, correct me if I'm wrong, I think at a point in the video, a fan runs onto the pitch and the police are trying to...
It wasn't just one person. There were a lot of people. But if you watch the video carefully, I actually don't see that guy to be a fan. You know why? He was in uniform with some other 2 or 3 guys who were wearing the same attire. So that green color. So it suggests to me that he may be somebody who was part. I can't confirm, but it doesn't look to me as somebody who just invaded the pitch individually. It looks as if they were a unit in one of the teams, and I can't confirm at this point because he was in uniform. He wasn't the only guy wearing that green shirt, if you watch the video carefully. So aside that, there were actual fans that I saw. I'm talking about the guy that the goalkeeper was chasing. But if you watch the video carefully, some other fans also invaded the field. So there were some fans who actually jumped into the field and then begin to attack some of the players. Now, to your initial question, Nathan.
Yes, concerning security.
This is a systematic failure. This is a systematic failure that has led to this. And if you've been to our part of this country, you can sense that when it comes to security arrangements in match days and match centers, it's actually posed very weak, neglected. People that don't care. Even when you see the policemen in uniform, they are only there to show up, not to protect. You see, I can count about 3 or 4 incidents that has actually happened on the same venue in certain match day situations, starting from Division 2 to Division 1 and to the Premier League. I personally have made calls even last year to the regional RFA boss and to his vice also in some cases, because there were situations that I was there, and because of the thing, people were slapping people like it was gift they were giving to them. And this is because we've neglected that and making it look as if when we go to stadium and then people decide to do whatever or misbehave. I mean, there is no rules that guides anybody there. It is survival of the fittest. And then if you survive, you survive. But if somebody do anything to you, actually nothing's going to happen. So that is what influenced a lot of people in similar match situations. And this very Nsoatre Park, if you know there, is very far from where the town is. So when something is happening to you, I mean, there will be nobody who can stand that. So if it is either if you leave or you pray, it doesn't get you. If it gets to you, you cannot survive this. And this is because, look, in a game like this, if we were to send security and put proper arrangements, I mean, we can even look at it from the tensions between, the 2 big kings, and then to realize that no, we shouldn't take security as a joke, going to games like this with this tension. And then aside that angle, we should also know that Nsoatre are fighting for survival. And after this game, their next game will be against Brecum Chelsea, which has its own issues. And then Kotoko are also fighting to get to the top again. So the tension, the nature of the game, even though it's category B match, everything surrounding the game suggested that if we are taking security serious, this wouldn't have happened. Because in my candid view, the police personnel that were there were not enough. I'm speaking to those that I saw in uniform, and I can attest to that. Because there were those that came in official capacity to protect the game, and they were not enough. If you can see, the policemen that were there are the policemen that approached the scene when the players were fighting. So you could feel that they weren't enough to protect innocent danger. So, Nathan, it's our negligence. It starts from the authority. Every club has its own share, because you could actually say, how can, you see, a media guy, how can an administrator be giving warning at a public place? Here is a stadium, a public place, that the incident that is happening, nobody should record. It is because this is how we've made it look like. Why shouldn't anybody record? Why is the game live? People's life, team like Asante Kotoko is here, a lot of people are here, incidents are happening, and you are giving warnings to people that they shouldn't record. So actually, eventually, even if I didn't leave the scene, Nathan, you can suggest what could have happened if you saw that I recorded. So it is because we have made it that way. So it is the negligence of the authorities starting from the very top, which is the FA, and then that has trickled down to the teams, and then to the fans. And if we have to give platform for the people or the spectators to share their audios or things that has happened to them at match centers, match venues, for people to recount, you will be shocked to the bone. So, Nathan, it is our own negligence. Media has been speaking about it. For some of us, we saw this coming. And this, even though unfortunately has resulted in loss of a life, but it was bound to happen. This was bound to happen. So, Nathan, actually, I'm quite shocked. It's unfortunate, but it was bound to. And as a media, what can we do? We can only report, we can only record, we can only analyze the situation and suggest recommendations. But if those in authority are not willing and ready to do the needful, incidents like this will keep on coming. Because even if somebody says, right after this, what's going to be the way forward? It will be the usual thing. Do you remember the last time there was a gunshot at Brecum? And then people were arrested, some got injured. What happened? Nothing. And a lot of incidents have been recorded at various stadia. And after that, that will be the end. So when the media stop talking about it, that will be the end of this issue as well. So we always don't take action. We always don't do anything when such incidents happen. And that is what has led to this.
Hussein, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the insight you've given us. I'm sure if as and when other things happen, we'll get back to you for more updates. Hussein Adams works with Akwaba Radio in Brecum, and he's been speaking with us on the incident that happened yesterday at Nsoatre, when Nsoatre man hosted Asante Kotoko. Fights between players, fans getting involved, ultimately is led to the death of an Asante Kotoko fan, Frimpong, popularly known as Pooley. He was stabbed and he passed on by the time he was taken to the hospital. This is Sporty 106.1 FM. This is the voice of sport. This is the Sporty Breakfast. We are live in Kumasi 91.3 FM, live in Takrady 102.5 FM. Get us on Facebook Live. We are on live on X.